So today I did this experiment. It turned out a little more dangerous than I thought it was going to be. Actually, a lot. I've got to shut up this fence before we do anything else. We're taking the cows out to the back pasture. It's been a couple weeks since we've had them out there. We've been grazing on the lawn, but today is lawn mowing day. It's just too far behind. Come here. Come here. Alrighty, before the goats finish their alfalfa in the barn and come out here, because they'll come straight back here, we need to walk this fence line, make sure that, I've not checked it in a few weeks, make sure there's no sticks, branches, leaves on it, broken fences, and then we'll close everything up, turn this fence on. So far so good.
We should make but look, come look out. What?
I was thinking of catching that calf, but it's a halter trainer. I've got her halter here, but that's not actually going to happen out here. I usually catch her in the barn, and that's what I think I need to stick with for now. I'm not going to chase her around. The fence looks pretty good. I do need to take a string trimmer out here. It's not on the ground anywhere. I threw some sticks off, but there is some grass grown up on it and some weeds grown up on it. So we'll go ahead and connect it up so these cows will have a little incentive to stay in the fence back here. You got it. Here. No, you got it.
No, okay.
You got it. You just got to pull harder.
Huh?
You got it. Give me 5. Nice job.
It doesn't shock you.
It will shock you through a stick. This tree out here I cut to use for a pole in my new pig pen, which is going in slow motion. And then over here we have all these branches. We let the cows and the goats eat all the leaves off, tulip poplar leaves. They love them. Now we're going to haul all these out of the pasture now. We're going to haul them up here to this fence and just lay them up there. And fence back on. Now the whole fence is on. Cows are in the back. And it's time to mow the lawn, I think. We've got to get all the bikes, all the toys, all the toy cars out of the grass, under these trees. That's what the boys are working on now. I guess there's a reason that we use plastic string in a weed eater, right? I've wanted for a long time to do an experiment. Something crazy just happened, and I guess I have part of my answer. I said, you know, why don't I throw some high tensile steel wire in my weed eater? So I threw some of this in instead of plastic string, and I knew it could be dangerous because just a piece of this coming off could hit someone, or this could throw up rocks. This would be much more likely to throw up rocks. Well, it didn't go very well. It doesn't give any forgiveness, let me say it that way. So when you hit something, it slows down the engine too fast. Instead of just breaking the string a little bit, which is what plastic string does, it would slow down the engine and kill the engine. So I said, well, that's not working. It cut beautifully, cut grass beautifully. Let's say this end broke off. And then this end ran through. Now, breaking off is the problem. Let me say, before I started this experiment, I made sure no one was out here, and I had my safety glasses on and stuff. But what I'm about to show you really surprised me, but I guess it shouldn't. And this will be my last day, not alive, fortunately. My last day putting experimental stuff in the weed eater. So this is what I've got to show you here. This piece of high tensile wire is buried in my boot. It broke off, flew in, stuck right in just like a bullet. I'm gonna tug it out here, and this was stuck in there about that far. Not into the boot, into the sole of the boot, into solid, hard rubber. I know I don't have a hole in my foot, and I'm very thankful for that, because if that hit my boot just an inch or an inch and a quarter higher, it would have penetrated into my foot, I have a feeling. So I'm glad that didn't happen. And so all of you guys, now I shouldn't just say that, not just guys, but I know there's a lot of guys out there who thought about putting cable or some sort of high strength and flexibility steel line on their string trimmer. I'm not going to say don't do it, but be careful. I don't know if cable would be safer, but this was totally unsafe. I guess I'm thankful and done with that experiment. Need a little refreshment? Do you need a different perspective on your life? One of the ways I get perspective on my life and get refreshed is I go up to the mountaintops around where we live. And I actually went camping with Justice, our oldest son, maybe a week ago. And I'm gonna cut to some of that footage right now and just show you this amazing place that we saw on some of the highest peaks here near where we live. We got up to the High Bald at about 6 p.m. as the sun was setting. There were a lot of people up there when we arrived, but soon they all cleared out as the darkness fell. We hunted for firewood and built a lovely little fire on top of the mountain. We sat together just reveling in an incredible end to the sunset with a fiery ball sinking down into the darkness. Isn't that beautiful?
It looks like these are trees and that's a ball spot.
It's times like these that I experience the feeling of how good it is to be a parent in a deep way, sitting around the campfire, talking, laughing. We had an awesome time. The next morning was a little more drab. It was cloudy, but the views were still nice, and we headed down the mountain home. Well guys, I hope you can get some refreshment. I put these little reminders in these videos because when I do something like go up to the mountaintops like this, I'm reminded so strongly how important it is for my mental health, my spiritual health, just to not go crazy, to get a little perspective, get on the mountaintops and get a break, even if it's just a quick overnight camping trip with a kid or maybe alone. Oh, gotta get these chickens out of the garden. Chickens, get out. They're so wily. Come on, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. No. Get out. Get out, get out, get out. Watch, you go out the gate. Out. There you go, you out. So there's not that much damage the chickens can do, but there's one thing in particular they've been getting into up here whenever they get in the garden, and I'll show it to you, and it's really annoying to me. Here we are, right here. They're eating low-hanging fruit, tomatoes namely, and they might have eaten 5%, no, 10% of what they could reach, which overall is an extremely small percentage of the tomatoes in the garden. But look at this one. Here's a nice tomato. I don't even know how, it must have been that rooster who reached up so high. I'm gonna pick that off, toss it, because there's no reason to put any more energy, for that plant to put any more energy into that poor tomato. I know you're not supposed to count your chickens before they hatch, but I think this is gonna be the best tomato year we've ever had. Barring some huge disaster, not only are there a huge number of fruit on these plants, not only is there a huge amount of fruit on these plants, look at all this. Here's one that is either slug damage or chicken damage. And look at the tomatoes over here. Crazy, beautiful Roma type. Just loads of them. Here's another one the chickens got too. And another one. And another one. Not only are there loads of tomatoes, I don't think you can see those big ones. There's no blight on these plants. And I strongly believe it's a combination of the weather and the technique that we've used to keep the plants far from the ground where they're growing straight up. Are you looking forward to tomorrow? Bree,
yeah, I think it'll be a nice...
Just wandered out here.
Yeah, I think it'll be a nice break from here. Just be nice to see people and put my mind elsewhere. Helping other people be nice.
We're going down to the haulers tomorrow to help on siding. I wonder why she's bellowing.
I can go look in a minute.
It could be just as simple as she doesn't want to be out there anymore. It could be she wants to be in the barn. It could be one of her calves is on the other side of the fence, but I see one of them with her.
I don't think they are. I think she just sees us and is like, and sees you giving treats, and she's like, I want treats.
That's it. I think I was just asking, so when a cow bellows, are they attempting to communicate that they don't like what's going on? I think they are. I think she is.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
I think she's trying to communicate to us that she wants to be over here, and that's what it is. She's at the gate now.
If I'm inside the house and I hear that over and over and over, I know to come outside and look. I always do. But I'm outside, so I'm looking around saying everything's fine.
The reason I think it's actual, not just her expressing discomfort independent of us or dislike, it's I think she's trying to communicate because she will see me and start.
Yeah.
So she'll be totally quiet, and then I go out to feed her in the morning, and she starts until I feed her. And she's like, come on.
Let's go. Let's go.
Give me the alfalfa. That's what she wants.
I've noticed that her bellow is like more intense than Dolly's was.
Ooh, it is. It's really intense.
It's like, it sounds like upset rather than just like a moo.
You know, I have this idea that it was stressful for her to come out of that herd.
I'm sure.
Because she lived for so many years with
her whole life.
More mature cows, and she is always with her calves or the goats, well, and the goats usually. But I think that was stressful.
And like when she first came and did that, and she would do that, it meant the calves were out because they used to get out all the time.
Exactly.
Because they were so little, so they could go under every fence. Now they can't. So I knew, oh no, I better go check. Same with the goats. If they do it a few times, I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But if they keep doing it, then I know I have to go outside and check. So.
My video title is The Experiment That Ended Dangerously. But I'm not going to tell you about it until you see the video in the morning.
What?
It was crazy though.
Oh no, Arthur.
The kids were not involved.
No.
On purpose.
That sounds bad. I wish I could come in there with you.
We're separated by a fence. That's hard to do.
Don't film me doing
Ah,
this.
it's funny.
Help me. That's what I look at the garden.
Straddling the fence.
Oh, it's painful.
Some overripe squash.
You gotta be careful walking through here or you'll step on the vines and break them.
Okay, let's talk about that. So when I planted this squash, this is mean. It's not really mean-hearted. When I planted the squash, you told me I planted the hills way too far apart. You were like, they don't need to be that far apart. And I want you to look at the squash and pumpkins. What do you think?
I mean, I think it would have been okay for them to be closer, but I'm glad they're not. They're not even on the ground either. Beautiful.
Maybe the deer have eaten some. They're tart, but they're really good. They're not that tart.
They're good.
They're actually good apples.
Oh, look at that pumpkin.
Look at this crazy pumpkin. Grew over the fence, and there's another giant. Actually, that's a big one. Oh, it's already a nice size. You can't see how big it is, but it's 12 inches. I want to show you something over here. Come here.
Ooh.
No, I was going to show them to you.
No, I was going to show them to you. Are they glorious?
Some melons down here, and they look really good. Probably these will ripen. They're big enough. I mean, they're not that far away from being
Grocery store size.
yeah.
I've never grown cantaloupe or watermelon before. I don't know if we'll have any watermelon. This is such a forest. I feel like the watermelon plants grew so slowly that all the other squash took over. But we'll see. But the cantaloupes did great. So next year we'll have to remember to grow watermelon on the edges.
Yeah.
Because that's why the cantaloupe's doing well, because it's on the edge.
This, I mean, there's watermelon. This is one.
That's watermelon?
That's
That's
watermelon.
cantaloupe. I was like online all day. I don't know how people work on computers all day. I just felt like so sick. Like my brain felt sick. So it feels like this is so rejuvenating. I don't know how people work on computers all day.
Well, folks, thanks for joining us. Thanks a lot. It's been another great day on the homestead. It's been a good day. Got started late. Haven't finished mowing yet.
I feel like it was a really stressful day for me.
Yeah.
But it's good out here.
So we'll see you really soon. I don't know. I think I might even edit tomorrow's video tomorrow. Anyway, either
You mean we'll film
either tomorrow or the next day, that video will come out. The hollers work. So that'll be fun. So see you then. Bye.